Hello all, I'm Mithun and welcome back to a brand new video. So in this video, let's discuss about a very interesting yet confusing for someone who has not heard or heard for the first time a technological concept or a term, open source. So let's look into what, why and how all about open source. So I will guide you through what exactly is open source, why open source exists and how can someone get hired through open source and how can anyone start doing open source? If I were you, someone who haven't contributed to open source or hearing for open source for the first time, how would you take up this step by step? And finally, I will share some words on what to do after open source, or if someone who is a working professional will have questions like, "Hey, I don't have time, but how can I be a part of this community?" So I will share some insights on that part as well. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started. So the first question when it comes is whenever we talk about open sources, everyone are like, what exactly is open source? I hear a lot of things about open source, but there is no clear, simple definition, right? Okay, so let me give that. So open source is simply a software which is free and accessible for anyone. Sounds interesting and at the time suspicious, right? Why would they give their work out for free? Okay, so that's where the real question comes, why open source exists. Okay, so earlier what was happening was in computer science especially, everything was a research. Okay, so no one had any idea of commercializing it. At that time researchers were sharing their work for free. Okay, so that's how even today happens. Researchers, okay, although there are commercial side of research as well, but majority of the research inside the labs, at least the works get shared. Okay, over a period of time the proprietary software gained dominance, where it was not free, not accessible for everyone. So it was either restricted for organizations who have a lot of money pumping into them, or someone who is like a individual would not have that much of the superpowers. Okay, even today, so like let's say computer science, so if everything becomes proprietary and if everything is paid, not we will not have these many engineers, right? So that is where some people at the early stage itself found out that this is a big issue, and let's start making it free and accessible. So that is where the open source movement started. And today majority of the libraries, frameworks you use, okay, be it Node.js, Python, and very good libraries like React.js, Express, frameworks like Express, Angular. So many of them are open source. Why? Because they want a lot of users to adapt it and at the end to grow the computer science field. Okay, so this is why open source exists, to reduce the dominance of proprietary software. It's not like everything had become open source, right? It's not a versus question, it's an and solution. Like there are proprietaries as well and there are open source, and there are commercial products built on open source as well. Okay, great. Now why this is very much important for any developer. Okay, now what happens is that whenever there is an open source project, okay, like let's say this is an open source project, let me give you what and all advantages we get. Okay, so when there is an open source project, first, okay, so it is open and free. You can try out things for free, so this is the first advantage. And whenever, how often, like, do you feel like while using a product like I can do this better? Okay, so that is where contributions comes into picture. So they accept contribution as well, meaningful contributions. It's not like, hey, so I like something and only I will be using, I will add it. No, some meaningful contributions will be accepted. So this is the core of the things. Now on keep on contributing, many people start contributing it, it forms a community. This is very much important. Community of developers, of like-minded developers moving towards a same goal. So these are the three main pillars of open source, I would say. So first is it's open and free, it's accepts contributions, and it has a good community support. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so for any developer, let's talk about developer next. Like let's say for anyone who is starting open source project, they will get access to the community for free. They are building a community, they have a product. Okay, so the product is open and free, but the service, there is a difference between a software and a service. Okay, software is a piece of code which can be executed, or a application which can be run. Okay, to run they need machines, right? So what happens is that these open source softwares will deploy or host their product and give it as a service and make money. And the main thing is that they will build a good community. Okay, so again, nowadays in software, community is a very big thing. This is why people do open source. Again, many of the times if you see, at the end eventually a open source project will be owned and maintained by a organization. Okay, because the developers need to be paid. Okay, so they give out money for the contributors, everything is there. I will just walk you through in some way. Okay, now why developers are so much interested? For developers to get hired, one thing is very much important. Okay, proof of work. This is very much important. What is a proof of work, Mithun? A proof of work can be anything like a project, individual project, an internship. Okay, an internship, why do people go to internship? Because it's a proof of work. And experience, work experience. Work experience is also a proof of work, telling that hey, he knows the work. Now, since the whole ecosystem is evolving, open source has been a very good proof of work. So this outshines in your resume. Okay, telling that hey, so these guys know how to work with an enterprise code base. Okay, again, a normal code base, enterprise code base, there is a lot of difference, and navigating through enterprise software is a skill in itself. Okay, so open source stand out as a good proof of work. Not only as a proof of work, you also become a good team player. Okay, so you will be good at communication, working remote, and open source. Many things happens remote, right? And today everyone are looking for remote ecosystems. So open source, first thing and the major important thing is that it's a good proof of work which can fit in your resume. You will be a team player, you know how to navigate to larger code bases, you will eventually get better at communicating remotely. So this is how open source will get you hired. Okay, so that's why again, today's scenario is completely different for some students, especially who are starting open source. They do open source just for the sake of putting something in resume. Okay, again, there are a lot of programs, you would have heard of a lot of programs like GSOC. Okay, Google Summer of Code. So there are a lot of other programs as well. What they do is that every year they'll launch these open source programs. Okay, and they bring in some organizations with some open source projects, and the students will apply for will put up proposals, and if the proposals gets accepted, you will eventually be paid as well. Okay, you will be getting some stipend as well. Okay, so this is where the whole open source ecosystem has evolved. Again, a disclaimer: don't do open source for just cracking these things or just having something on your resume. No, so do it for the main intention of open source. Okay, to contribute. Okay, again, these are all the byproducts: the proof of work, the GSOC, the monetary part, everything are the byproduct. But whenever you're doing open source, go ask to anyone who is like very good at open source. Their intention was to learn things. Okay, and eventually they end up making money. Great. So this is how open source can help you get hired. Again, if you are an organization, a startup founder, okay, who want to start an open source project, it's a very good thing. Okay, you can monetize it. I told you, right? You can keep the software for free, but provide services on top of it. You will have access to the community, a wide pool of developers. Hirings becomes easier. Again, one more thing. Whenever you're working on a open source project, the founders will have direct access to you. Okay, so the work what you do will be directly reflected for to the founders, and eventually a lot of offers would be released in the open source project. It's the working on the same project. So this is also one way to get hired, the non-traditional way. Now let's look into how can anyone start contributing to open source. Like, let's say I have been contributing for quite a while now. Okay, so now if I were like doing it for the first time, what approaches will I do? So the first thing I will do is that I will learn a programming language or any technological stack. Okay, let's not just stop with programming language. I will learn any tech stack for building applications, be it anything like using Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, Go, anything. Okay, so let's assume I am a good web developer. I know how to build small scale applications. I haven't worked on scale. Now I am exploring ways to work on scale. So I will just go to Google and search for web development open source projects. Okay. Again, thanks to people like this who have given the list of project production ready web projects, or else you will see a lot of links uh, connecting you to the good project. I would recommend some GitHub sites itself like this. Again, open source majority of the times happens on platforms like GitHub. So you should be comfortable with Git and GitHub, how using with it, so how to do it, everything. Even though there will be a contributing guide, but it's a good thing to do. So here you will get open production ready web projects using Python, Ruby, JavaScript, Go, PHP. So these are the tech stacks. Like, are you good at Django? Are you good at Flask? Apollo Server, Express, Next.js, Fastify. Okay. So Phoenix, Java, okay, C Sharp, everything you can see, right? So open source, it's not language independent or tech stack independent. It's dependent. It's independent of everything. Okay. Now, like, let's say I am interested. I am a good JavaScript dev, and I'm interested in like a Teams app kind of a project. So I will just say, hey, there is a Rocket Chat. Let's go to Rocket Chat. Okay. Again, this is a very good project. So how to see if this is a good project or not, or it's a mature project or not? See just the contributors list. So there are 894 contributors. So this is the first thing. Okay. Next thing is that languages, what is used in this project, and are you comfortable with this? Again, I would recommend for someone go regional itself. Okay, so that what happens is that the next step becomes easier. I will just say what's the next step is. Okay, now you got the project, but Mithun, how can I navigate through this? So first, put some efforts. Next, take the mentorship. Okay, how to put some efforts? Go to issues. So here they would have list out all of the issues. Okay, so now Mithun, I am not understanding this false error, workspace version unsupported, how to do this? So for beginners, they will have some labels. Okay, one of the good label is good first issue. Okay, search for it. I will just search for first. Okay, see, you have this good first issue. Okay, just click on it. There are 7 items. Okay, I think, yeah, so 7 items. So 7 open items, which is very much easy, and it's a good first issue for anyone who is starting for the first time in this code base. It's a very good thing. Okay, so you can just see this. Again, there are type. If you are someone who is into UI UX, you can see this. Or like member list is randomly sorted. Okay, so this looks like a very simple things. See, the users at the member list are randomly sorted, and it is difficult to find someone without actually using the search. Okay, so step to reproduce expected behavior, actual behavior. So everything they will be giving it. Okay, so hey, I confirm it's hard to say what it is sorted. Okay, there will be some conversations. Just read out it. So, and you can start to work with this. How to work with this? So just let me just go to their landing page, and you will have a contribution guide. Okay, how to set up and a contribution guide. Okay, so here contribution. So there will be a contribution guide. Okay, so how to set up your development environment. See, all of the steps will be there. Okay, again, it might be overwhelming at the beginning, but as and when you go through it, you will be able to understand. Again, so if there are any doubts, you can go to the community forum. Okay, usually it will be on Discord, or they have any forum. Yeah, you can just uh, ping here. Okay, now here you don't have any direct mentorship. How to seek mentorship? Okay, so go to the contributors list. Okay, so these are let me just go. So this is not Rocket. Okay, so this is a different project. We are in this open source, open production. Well, let me go to Rocket Chat. Where is Rocket Chat? Yeah. So here we have Rocket Chat. So go to the contributors list. Okay. Look for someone. Okay, so you will be able to see, right? Look for someone who is like from your region. Like if I am from India, I would look for some Indian developers because I will be comfortable, or else there is no restriction. Okay, so you can either, I won't recommend to ping people with a large number of commits because the chance of getting a reply is very much hard. Okay, scroll down. Okay, so people with less number of commits. So like let's say 18 commits. So I will open, and here you can see their mail ID or their portfolio link. Sometimes if you're lucky, you will get their LinkedIn itself, so where you can ping them, or you can also put up a mail. Okay, telling that, hey, so I am working on the same project where you have contributed. Can you just give me a quick walkthrough of this project, how to set up and how to get started? Trust me, many of them have replied to me, and there will be a lot of people happy to help. If someone would ping me, I would be very much happy to help. So this is how you should navigate. First, find the project, simple Google or go to Perplexity. It has a good search. Okay. Next, find good first issues. Next, try on your own. Don't depend on anyone for the first time. Next, if you're not understanding anything, ping people. Again, first time you won't get response, you should do it, repeat the process whole together, and that is how you will harness the whole benefit. Again, so when if you have all of these ready, your proposals gets shined, and you will get selected into these projects as well. So this is how, as a developer, I am going to do it. Okay, next. So many people are like, open source is a way where I will just take benefit out of it. Okay, so but there are a lot of people. Okay, so in fact I do sometimes. Okay, so I have been benefited by open source a lot, or there will be some set of people, or like any working professional who want to be into the community. So what you can do is that you can give out, sponsor a project. Again, it's not like sponsoring like $1,000. No, you can start with as less as $3, $5, it doesn't matter. So and based on what your interest is, and the hope you have on the project, or the trust you have on the project, you can directly start sponsoring these projects. Okay, again, I think this is not available for sponsoring. You will get get a sponsoring button as well. Like, let's see if we have for any of those. So you'll have a sponsor button, like let's say dev 2. Okay, many a times you will have a sponsoring button saying that, hey, sponsor this GitHub project. Okay, like let's say GitHub open source projects to sponsor. Okay, so GitHub sponsors who maintain the dependencies. Okay, node glob. Okay, see, you'll get a sponsor button. You can just sponsor this project. Okay, so you can also do it one time, or monthly as well. Okay, so this is also a good thing. So someone who is like getting started, you can just be able to sponsor this, and get some traction, or be in the community whole to whole. Okay, it's not always about getting something, it's always about giving as well. Okay, so here you will be listed as a sponsor for the GitHub open source projects. Again, so the whole idea is to be a part of the community. If you have time, contribute to code or sponsor it. It helps a lot for these source projects to survive. Okay, so this is all what you should know, and to get started with open source. I hope you guys have now the clear idea of what open source is, why open source exists, so how to get hired, and how can a founder start and benefit from the open source project, and how can anyone start from the scratch. Okay, I have given you an end-to-end demo. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel so I can bring out a lot of content like this. That's it, and I will catch you up in the next one. Thank you.